Hello, everyone. It is such a pleasure to be back again this week. I am Sandra. I'm your host of the Fiercely Spiritual podcast. If you don't know me, I'm an author, healer, and spiritual teacher. And you can find me on angelicbodies.ie. You will find all previous episodes of the podcast there. You'll find weekly angel guidance. You'll find loads of blog posts and other interesting information. And if you want to check that out, you can go to my website. The link is below. So this week we are talking about the process of becoming your highest self. Now, what is becoming your highest self? What does that mean? And how does the process work? So we're going to be talking all about that. We're going to be talking about what it means and how to navigate the process of becoming your highest self. So for me, becoming your highest self is simply casting off all the layers of fear, all the layers of doubt, all the worry, anything that holds you back from being the true expression of yourself. Because underneath all those layers of fear and worry and doubt, there's something beautiful inside you. There's something pure. There is something that is untouched by the fear. And we're really just going back into that, going back home. And I've been finding that recently this message has been coming up, that this process, it is not linear. It definitely is not linear. It's like sometimes we take one step forward and it seems like we're taking two steps backwards, when in fact we're not. We're always progressing, but it's like a dance. It's like a dance between who you are becoming and who you were. Now, when I talk about becoming, that part of you is always inside you. So you're not necessarily becoming something different. It's just that you're recognizing, you're remembering, you're becoming aware of who you truly are, because we cast these illusions around ourselves of who we think we are. And in reality, we are divine love, we are infinite cosmic beings. And it's coming back to the understanding, the awareness of that truth. So that dance is like, one day you will be on top of the world, you will feel like a cosmic being, you will feel the divine love, and you will be in your element, so to speak. And the next day you might drop back down into fear and doubt and worry, and you might think that you're going backwards. Now, I read recently that it is a process of opening up, expanding your aura, but then you don't want to stay in that expanded state, because it's not sustainable for longer periods. Because it's like when you are learning to run a marathon, you'll start off by running maybe a few miles the first day, and then a few more miles, and you'll build up to it. So you're expanding that awareness, you're expanding your ability to be in those higher vibrations. But then you might drop back down into a low vibration, and sometimes that can feel a bit clunky, a bit awkward, and you've tasted that higher vibration, so you know what it's like on that other side, and you want to be there all the time. And then when you drop back down into maybe a lower vibration, it's like, oh, I want to get back to that place. I don't want to be here stuck in these lower vibrations. I want to be in that high vibe energy. So just to be aware of that, it is a process, and you are dancing this dance between who you were and who you are becoming. And what we're being called to do is, yes, we've been dancing the dance for a while, but we're being called to step it up a level. So what does this mean? So it is being firm in your conviction to the light. So what's happening is, as we expand into our fullest and highest expressions of ourselves, we love being in that place. We love being in that high vibe energy. But there is a part of you that craves the drama, that feeds off the anger, that wallows in the sadness. And there is that part of you, and it's okay that that part of you is there. But we have been feeding the fears, we have been feeding the anger, and that's okay as well. It's all part of the process, but you're being called now, we're all being called to be firm in your conviction to the light, to not let yourself get drawn back into the drama, the fear, the darkness, no matter how tempting it may seem to be in that drama, to be in that fear. And when I say tempting, it is tempting only because there is that part of you that feeds off that you being in that state. And that part of you is coaxing you to be in that state of drama or fear or worry because it feeds off it. So there is that temptation to go down into those worries, to allow the fear to take over, to allow the thoughts to spiral into worry and anxiety. So what we're being called to do is to be consistent in our choices. Now more than ever, we need to commit to the light and to stand strong in the light. So it's deciding, okay, I used to react this way when something would happen. I used to go straight into fear mode. But now I'm observing what's happening. I'm able to see what's happening. And I'm choosing maybe not to stay there as long as I used to, or maybe not to even go there in the first place. So it's being really aware of how you're reacting, how you're choosing to be day to day. And when you find yourself falling down that ladder and going into fear mode and being in the fear, just observing and noticing without judgment, without judging it, without being harsh, because that only breeds more of that drama and fear. But just observing what's happening and then making a different choice, choosing to pull yourself up out of it, choosing to talk yourself around to letting go, whatever works for you, or just simply dropping it. Sometimes it's as simple as changing the subject. If your thoughts are spiraling out of control, it's as simple as just changing the subject and thinking of something different. And I talked about this in another episode. I'll put a link to it below, where you can switch and think about the positive opposite of what you're currently thinking about. So if you're thinking about something that is negative, that's unwanted, then you just think about the positive opposite. I go into more detail in the other episode about how to do that. So I'll put a link below to that episode. So how can you stand strong in the light? And remember, it's not that you're fighting to become the light. It's not that you're struggling to be something that you have to attain. You already are the light. You already have that within you. And you're simply tuning back into the light. You're turning away from the darkness and turning towards the light. And a good analogy, I remember hearing this a while ago, is if you think about when the sun is shining. If you turn towards the sun, you are basking in the light. But if you turn the other way and turn towards your shadow, you won't see the sun. All you will see is the darkness. So it can be simply doing a 180-degree turn and turning towards the light. And that's that positive opposite, just turning towards the positive, and keep doing that. And what will happen is your mind, your subconscious mind, doesn't want to waste energy. It takes a lot of energy to think and to do all the things that your body's doing, to run your body, all the functions of your body. So it doesn't want to waste energy. So if you keep dropping the fear thoughts, the drama, all that stuff, and you keep turning towards the light, turning towards the positive, eventually your subconscious is going to stop feeding you the habitual patterns that you once turned towards fear. It's going to conserve energy, and it's going to say, okay, well, she's not putting energy into this, she's not allowing this, so I'm just going to stop doing it. So all those habitual patterns that your subconscious is running on a daily basis, where you would normally react in anger, or you'd normally react in fear or sadness, or whatever pattern that's coming up for you, if you keep dropping it and just turning towards the light, turning towards the positive, it's going to start taking effect, where you'll notice you're not being fed these thoughts as much. You're not being subjected to these habitual patterns and the drama, the fear. You're going to start noticing that your thoughts start clearing up. You're not going to be going into the fear mode as much, and things will get a lot easier. But you have to be convicted to this practice. You can't do it for a day and then give up. Your subconscious is so powerful that you have to keep being consistent in this practice, and you have to do it until there's the tipping point where you start to notice the change. Now, for some people, that may be a month. For some others, it might be a few months. Generally, it's around 28 days for this to start working, to start taking effect. But sometimes it could be longer. It depends how consistent you are. And it depends on how much you are allowing the drama and the fear to take over. So give it a try. Allow yourself to stand strong in the light and to become your highest self, because that's what your soul wants for you. Your soul wants you to become, to blossom into this beautiful flower, and that bud is inside you. It's waiting to open up, and it's just a matter of allowing it, not struggling, not forcing, not fighting, but allowing it through dropping the fear and dropping the drama. Now, I know that sometimes can be easier said than done, so be easy with yourself, be gentle with yourself during this process. No judgment, please, no judgment. If you do fall behind and notice that you've spent a day in fear, just let it go, and as soon as you remember to, just be in the light. So I hope this has helped, and I will see you next week for another episode of the Fiercely Spiritual Podcast. Bye-bye.